Hello, 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 my beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of The Motherload. I am your host, LWB. Today's podcast is brought to you by a WWB production with music by Mr. Andrew Riley. Today's guest is Miss Linda Gonzalez. Today, we welcome Linda. She is a life coach, published author, and speaker whose book, The Cost of Our Lives, is an award-winning memoir. Linda was born in Los Angeles. Her current coaching book, Breaking Through Your Own Glass Ceiling, is soon to be published. Linda's practice helps clients discover their goals while taking into account the bias that still exists in our society today and the impacts thereof. So welcome, 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 Linda. How are you today? Thank you for joining us.
I am, as you are, practicing hashtag social distancing.
Yes.
As the COVID-19 virus comes at us.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And we are certainly going to be talking about that. You have some great conversation to share with our audience about self-care and how we're going to manage some of those stresses and fears. But, you know, I wanted to jump right in and say that when I visited your website for the first time, I thought that your quote by Buddha was quite apropos, and I'll read it. It says, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." And I thought that was so beautiful during this, intensifying time that we're all experiencing. And I thought you might want to explain to our listeners what that quote means to you in the midst of the times that we all find ourselves.
Yes, I felt such a deep resonance as you read it. One of the things that I do is I have an accountability partner. One of the things we talked about this morning was how amid the virus, people are making all kinds of choices, and that what we have control over is our own choices. Yes. Our choices to practice social distancing, our choices to keep ourselves and the people that we love and the people that we don't know, but we know are vulnerable to the virus safe, that we are not the people communicating this disease and virus to other people.
That's right.
And so in this time, we have to go this road ourselves. Literally, I am taking walks by myself.
Yes.
I am practicing self-care no matter what. Even when I feel frozen,
yes.
I have liquid next to me, so I'm drinking, and it is making me move because I am aware of how much I want to sink into the despair and the anxiety and the fear.
Yes.
And therefore, I have got to get myself up literally to move.
Beautiful. So you're talking about your physical wellness. So what are you doing as well? Because I think that's beautiful. And I love that our listeners are hearing that, because I think that is a wonderful way to maintain our physical body equilibrium. But what about your mind and your spirit? What are you doing there, Linda?
One of the things I am doing is allowing myself to, quote unquote, skip a beat.
Okay.
I have noticed that a lot of people were doing their work and then they went into virtual realities and they didn't slow down to think about, how am I feeling? What do I need that is different in this moment?
I love it.
Than when I can go anywhere, be with anyone, and do what I need to do. And I think that is a problematic. And so I gave myself permission last week, particularly, to what I call skip a beat. I'm a very active person, but I cannot go out and play tennis. I cannot do my workouts with other people, and I cannot practice yoga. And those are disciplines that are important to me. So I gave myself permission to slowly move into what was I going to do instead.
Nice.
I gave myself permission to sleep as much as I could possibly sleep.
Wow.
Because I know that I'm a strong person, and it would be very easy for me to think, I got this.
Yes.
And to realize nobody has this.
That's right.
We are just taking a step and then looking and getting to see a little further ahead and taking another step and looking a little further ahead. So permission to slow down, permission not to do everything as if we are not in the middle of a pandemic.
I just have to say, I love that. Skip a beat. You and I just spoke seconds before we went live here about how we both have big voices. You've admitted just now that you're extremely active, as am I. I definitely am a self-professed extrovert, and I suspect there's nothing that keeps you on your flower being a wallflower. So these things that we have in common, having not even physically met, resonate because absolutely, I love what you say about not even knowing what any of this means and taking the moment through permission, self-permission, because no one's going to do that for us. I love that, which is why I asked you about the quote, because that is something that we have to do solo. That is something that we have to decide individually without anyone else's permission, to grant ourselves the permission to do what it is that we need. So honestly, bravo. You don't hear it, but I'm giving you another hand clap because that is just beautiful. The discipline that takes, the adjustment that you need to make on an individual basis. I just have to say bravo. And I love that. Skip a beat. I'm going to tag this podcast, Skip a Beat, because I think that is brilliant, Linda. Thank you for that. That is just absolutely remarkable. So, okay, the walks, and you're used to tennis and you're used to yoga. So these walks are quite isolating. And so that's a new experience for you. And how's that feeling? I mean, what's the main thing? What's your main takeaway from that?
My main takeaway is what people are realizing as a result of this is we are so interconnected.
Nice.
We rely on each other without even appreciating and valuing how much we mean to each other. How much, when I was taking my solo walk yesterday, there was a young man walking his dog, and we automatically went to other sides of the street.
Mm-hmm.
But we looked up and we met each other's eyes and we said hello.
Oh.
Yes, because that is still possible. I did a post around that social isolation is helping us to touch in with our senses and to find new ways to love ourselves and all beings.
Beautiful.
We are finding in the midst of the fear and the sadness and the anger and the frustration that we are interconnected. Somebody sent me a video about this man, and he was saying he doesn't think the virus is going to kill him. It's all the people reaching out and people he hasn't heard from, checking in on him, and all of the connections that we have grown unaccustomed to because we live in such a socially isolating world. Even when we are together, we have never been more connected than this has shown us.
Yes.
Because it's across space and time. We can send love and joy and peace and harmony across the whole planet, and we're touching into our intuition in all those ways that we communicate without being literally together.
I love it. You just encapsulated the whole concept of having such a foreign, enforced, unrequested experience being thrust upon us, which actually is a blessing. I mean, it's exactly what you say. I mean, hearing it as you've just described only sounds like a beautiful blossom of a new beginning that I think more of us are going to realize, as you say, how lucky we are to have one another. Bravo. Bravo on that. Just shifting a bit here, I wondered if you might tell our audience a little bit about your Embrace Your Purpose and Work Path course, because I thought just by the title alone, that was pretty appealing. And I think that's something that while we're all isolating and going through these new experiences of emotion, that we can kind of explore what that means, because we all still need to live with purpose. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Right.
And one of the things that I tell people is that you are either living with your own purpose or you are, by default, living someone else's purpose.
Yes.
People don't realize that, but you are living a purposeful life. It's simply not necessarily your purpose.
That's right.
And so when you are able to know and be bold enough to speak it out loud, because many of the people I work with, that terrifies them to say, this is who I am, this is what matters to me, this is my unique talent and gifts that I want to give to the world. That can be very terrifying.
Yes.
Because you're stepping into yourself and who you are as a particular human being at this moment in time.
Yes. Yes.
So I always start with that, either with my coaching clients or with people that I work with around work path. And I say work path because, number one, I don't want to have people think it has to be a job. That work encompasses so many. There are many, many ways to work as entrepreneurs. It can be a mix. There are many. You can work at the stock market or at investments. There are many ways to generate income, and I want people to have a bigger view of that than looking for a job.
Sure.
And it's a path because it never ends. There is never a time when we are not in some way working, whether it's paid work, whether it is the work that we do every day, particularly women women of color, that is not seen or valued or given the justice that it deserves. And that is what's happening now, of course, in this pandemic.
Absolutely.
Is that we are seeing, we are all challenged, but the people who are most challenged are the people who have been challenged for the life of this country and the life of the world.
That's right. That's right. And particularly their own lives. So I love what you say about that reflective moment of, well, what is my purpose? Am I living on purpose? And also another thing you said reminds me of Michelle Obama's entire purpose for writing the book Becoming, which is that we never stop becoming who we are meant to be. So bravo to you on Work Path. That's brilliant. And I love that you remind your clients of that, because I think we do put pressure on ourselves. Albeit most of it does come from society, because there are times when I say to myself, where's that thought coming from? Is that really mine? Or is that society's sort of impression of what I should be thinking about myself? All of those things. Speaking of work in particular, right? You always feel like, being on someone's path of what their assumption of you is versus what your own ideas are. And again, that's always a work in progress. So, and I really love that you just said that. And so to your book, Breaking Through Your Own Glass Ceiling. This is just a phenomenal segue. Tell us about it. And when is it going to be out? What's the crux? Tell us.
Yes, I'm so excited about this.
It's very exciting.
Yes. And, as you know, and many people know, the publishing world is not as welcoming of the same people that are not welcomed in many other spheres of work.
Sure.
So I've decided to go ahead and self-publish.
Woo!
Partly, yes. What I have to say.
That's right.
The book happened when one of my former coaching clients said, when are you going to write that book about everything that you know? And I said, it's not about that book. I said, okay. I love that when your clients are the ones who challenge you. That's when you know you're doing your job well.
Yes. Yes. And I must.
Clients and
yes.
your children.
Yes. Yes, and I must interject to say that to my audience, to my Motherlode audience, Celine, that was the first editor ever to truly push me, folks. So, you know that I appreciate that. So I just have to tell you out loud, and for all those to hear, you really pushed me past any point of surrender. So I love that about you. So that's great. So you decided to listen to your client, and the title is fantastic. So I can only assume that you're, again, infusing all of your great support that you give others into this one source so that you can go out and publish and have everybody grab hold of it and take your jewels along with them.
That's right. And one of the things that the premise of the book is I've been a life coach primarily for women of color for over 25 years.
Beautiful.
And in that time, the number one challenge that they and I have faced is navigating the glass ceilings of society, right?
Okay.
The unseen barriers that keep people of color and women from rising in organizations, regardless of their qualifications or achievement, regardless.
Perfect.
Now, my clients never say to me, I want to work on breaking through my own glass ceiling. They never come to me for that. They have other goals, and they wonder why it is that despite their working hard and doing everything that they were told, despite educational achievements, despite all the sacrifices that their parents made to give them a better life, that they are still hitting up against glass ceilings.
That's right.
And so one of the biggest points I tell them is, well, you weren't meant to survive or even thrive. And so that's such a relief to them, because they think that if they just work harder, if they just find the perfect way to say something, you know, they think it's all about their effort, because that's the cultural norm in the United States for sure.
Of course. Of course. Right? Or the perfect way to look and all that. Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So they turn to self-help or motivational books who tell them, well, meditation, breathe, calm and stillness, all of that. Vision boards, right?
Yeah.
So they do all that. I've done it.
Sure.
You know, affirmations, right? I love myself. And then,
yes.
Right? And then you step out of your house, and then someone makes a comment about your hair, or about, you know, surprised that you're so articulate, or any of those things.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
So, and so so much of my work is letting them understand the historical and current inequities that are part and parcel of why they are struggling, and that they have to release the notion that they can overcome historical and current racial and gender and all kinds of inequities.
That's right.
And it relaxes them.
Yes.
And they say, okay, that goes back to no one can walk the path but you. Then we work on, what do you have control over?
Perfect. Just hearing you say that, like, my shoulders relaxed a bit, because of all of the people who feel that way. It's a burden we hold and carry. And I love that immediate relief that I'm sure your clients get. Just me hearing it, I'm thinking, geesh, you know, what a great bit of insight that you need to constantly remind yourself, so that you can allow yourself to breathe into the reality of our history. I mean, right now, you know, Self-Made is streaming on Netflix, and it's amazing. It's the story of CJ, right?
I watched it.
Yeah, I'm at my last episode. I've got to watch it tonight. So no spoilers, but I know no spoilers, but I know like 5 people in the production, and I'm so proud of it on so many levels. I mean, but just that type of sort of entrepreneurial spirit, that never give upness, regardless of what you had to fight against. Again, you once said that's the kind of spirit that most women and women of color in America in particular never knew how to live without. And that is a burden. And that's what I love about what you're doing in your work. You are embracing your purpose, because you're saying to all of those people who were in Madame C.J. Walker's, you know, path, that we don't need to do that if we're aware of what we're up against, and that it's not our fault, and that there will always be a ceiling, because that's how it was systemically established. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful, because immediately you can then go, okay, toss that scarf, swing those hips, keep moving forward, and know that despite what you do, you're going to make your mark when you are on your own path, regardless of what's going on around you. So I love that. Seriously, that is just great. Oh my goodness, Linda. I just think our audiences are just so lucky to meet you today, to know you. I am going to leave your website. I'm not wrapping up. I'm just saying I wanted to give you an opportunity to add anything else here, because as I said to you on email before we set this up, I mean, these conversations are so full and so wondrous that they can they can go on and on, especially at a time like this. And so I try to keep them short and to the point so that our audiences can then find you and know where to reach you and reach out to you. So I am going to leave your website for our audiences at our link throughout all of our social bullets that we are going to be having across Apple, across Spreaker, etc., Google Play, and whatnot. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to add anything else at this particular point before we do so, because again, I could talk to you for hours.
I know. Well, we could do another one at another time.
Yes, we should.
So yes, and I think that the one thing I want to say, both in this time and also in all of your work, is that even though you learn how to walk your own path, it does not mean that there are still not barriers.
Mm-hmm.
But what it means is that you aren't surprised.
Nice.
You plan better. You get out of toxic situations sooner. You know how to reach out to the people who love you and believe in you. And so that is important now.
Yes.
That as we are in this social distancing, that we recognize that we are never alone.
Yes.
That we are working through a situation that is going to teach us so much for what I consider really the nearer challenge, which is climate change.
Yes.
I mean, it is interesting to me how much this has shown us that when the will of the people is present, that we can turn around issues that feel like they are immovable, like racism, like climate change, like the parties, right?
Yes.
The presidential candidates.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All of that.
Yeah.
So we are learning. Every situation we're in is teaching us how to manage and to work in a more effective, loving way with every other situation.
I could not agree with you more. And I know that our audiences deeply appreciate hearing that, because those were very hopeful, realistic, and actualized words. I mean, I could see exactly what you're saying with my mind's eye, which is that, sure, there is going to be a vaccine. We know this. We know we're not alone. We know that we are all in this together, and yet still we need to do what Buddha says, right? And know that we still have a self-responsibility, but that if we all collectively honor that responsibility to ourselves, walk our path on purpose, and break through our own glass ceiling, that we will be indestructible. Yeah, we will be indestructible. There we go, Linda. Well, listen, my beautiful audience, I'm not going to let Linda go, but I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to learn more about Linda's equity-based coaching. We're going to leave this information on all of our tags, but she can be found at lindagonzalez.net. That's L, Linda, I, Igloo, N, Nancy, D, David, A, Apple, G, beautiful Giselle, O, October, N, Nancy, Z, Zebra, A, Apple, L, Larry, E, Edward, Z, Zebra.net. Folks, that does it for me. I am LWB signing out. You all take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane. Until the next time.